This is TWiT.
President Obama intends to propose 3 new data and privacy laws. The first would require companies that have been hacked to notify affected customers within 30 days. This is, of course, aimed at Target-like hacks, especially in retail stores. The second law gives people more control of the data companies gather about them. And the third illegalizes the sale of student data by educational software companies. Outlines of the plan were summarized during a speech the president made at the FTC about an hour ago and will be further detailed during his January 20th State of the Union address. What's interesting about this, to me, Lindsay Turrentine, is that data protection is mostly left to the states in the United States. We have a federal system, and for those who don't live in the U.S. or don't follow U.S. politics, it's one of the weird things or unusual things about the United States where we have essentially 50 national governments on some issues and 1 national government on other issues. And what President Obama is attempting to do here is take something that's generally been left to the states and move it to the national level, at least for a baseline of protection. This is minimalist protection. He's being criticized for the weakness of these measures, but I think that it's reasonable given that each and every state can still have more stringent privacy protection measures if they want to. What do you think about these proposals so far from what we know?
Well, I would hope that he's basing them off of the strictest current state proposals, and California has some of the most strict state laws around information right now. What I think is good about this is that it takes companies a really long time to respond to data breaches at the moment, partially because they have to go through and figure out which of their customers were in which states, how they're going to address the customers in each state. It takes them a very long time. If everything is a little bit more consistent, I think responses will be faster and more efficient.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I also worry about the clumsiness and the bluntness of the government legal requirement sort of approach to everything. For example, this requirement that you have to notify the public when their data has been compromised within 30 days sounds great. That could turn out to be a terrible thing, though. It could be that the forced disclosure of that information could actually cause more or invite more attacks. If the hack hasn't been properly fixed or whatever, that could be a problem. I'm just guessing. It's just these kinds of requirements are good for the most part, but they can also be problematic in ways that you can't predict. So we'll see if something bad happens out of all this. But for the most part, it seems like President Obama is playing for history. He doesn't want to be the president who is the anti-privacy president or the president who didn't do anything about the one of the biggest things that people are concerned about, which is the compromising of their personal data. So he's trying to do something, it looks like, and we'll see if he gets away with it. Of course, it's a Republican-controlled Congress now, so he's going to have a hostile sort of conversation with Congress in trying to get this through. They're going to want to undo everything that he tries to do. So,
well, certainly, Sony, I mean, the timing could not be better in terms of the news cycle, right? And here we have just, right now, this moment, another example of a security breach. I think the public is primed to want better laws as long as he can convince everybody that these are better.
Yeah, my advice to Congress is if you're going to oppose this, oppose it on the grounds that it doesn't do enough.
Exactly.
You'll have a better time with the American public.